Those damn Yank tanks, or if you buy one, you're an idiot. Yeah, both of these comments are flying at U.S. full-size trucks and heavy-duty trucks that are being imported into Australia. I got the story from carsguide.com/Australia. I've been following the story over, of course, 3 or 4 years now, kind of keeping tabs what's going on over there because I find it interesting. Because the Australian outback is similar to the American Southwest. Big open spaces, people want to go camping, people want to do things, and what's going on down under. Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. I wrote this up on pickuptrucktalk.com today, and I don't know if this video is going to do 1,000 views or anything, but I just thought it'd be interesting stuff for you because it was pretty interesting stuff for me. So this is Australians are furious over U.S. full-size truck imports. So if you look at the number information, it says growing U.S. full-size trucks are coming to Australia. It's not a huge market. It's a niche market, but they're starting to show up more and more, and all the brands get involved. I'll give you details on that in case you haven't followed the story as closely as I have, because chances are you haven't. So this quote is, "If you buy one, you're an idiot," said Samantha Ratnam of Instagram, leader of the Victorian Greens and member of the Northern Metropolitan Region, as quoted by carsguide.com/Australia. She went on to add, "If you want to lower our transport emissions, reduce road fatalities, we need to see less of these monster cars on our streets." Shakes fist in the air. It is an undeniable fact that supersized vehicles are dangerous. No, it's not. They have blind spots up to 4 meters in front of the vehicle. Ooh. And it is no coincidence that a child is 8 times more likely to die being hit by a large utility vehicle when compared to a lighter car. I'm putting my arm on my side going, "Rrr, rrr." Not to mention the astonishing amount of pollution caused by these beasts. None of this is accurate, but okay. Looking at more these details. So if you haven't followed what's going on, in a short recap, last few years, Ram, Ford, GM, and Toyota have all started looking or are actively importing full-size heavy-duty trucks into Australia. These automakers have done imports in the past, but now the number of imports has grown substantially. It's niche market, basically Australian outback, boat towing, and construction is what I found from carsguide.com Australia. There's some boating legislation in place. You have a certain size vehicle to tow certain boats. Apparently, that's what I'm taking from the articles I've read. And they've been trying to use the small utes, like the Toyota Hilux and global versions of the Ranger in Colorado. But those don't have the payload or towing capacity to haul these items as well as larger trucks. Haul these items like larger trucks. So the smaller utes can't handle what the Australians want to add. And I'm talking about fifth wheel campers. I'm talking about big pull campers. And I remember talking to Toyota about this a couple years ago. We were discussing it in Japan when I was there. They were trying to look at ways to improve the frame of the Hilux to handle this because the global demand in Australia, plus you're looking at parts of the Mongolia desert, you're looking at parts of northern China. People want to go camping. They want to experience the outdoors more. They want to get back to nature. And the utes that they have globally just can't handle those loads. Ram started off importing 1,500 through a long-standing local importer, Ateco Group, since 2013. These trucks have been imported to the factory to be retrofitted to be right-hand drive. So they are left-hand drive in the United States, right-hand drive in Australia, as that country, that's the way they decided to do things years and years ago. So what they have to do is they basically flip the steering wheel and they flip all the interior components. Plus, they have to flip the steering inside the engine. Sometimes they got to move engine components around as well. This is a pretty intensive process. I'm hearing anywhere of about 100 man hours to make this conversion happen. Now, this means that you're going to get limited trims. So they do limited trims, limited cabs, and the pricing is pretty interesting. And you may get fired up about this. So the starting price of Ram 1500 Laramie, double cab with a 5.7 liter Hemi V8, they're just a little behind. The Hurricane is coming. Hold on with me. Stay with me here. Is $114,940 Australian dollars, or $76,690 US dollars before other on-road costs, which I don't know what these are, but that's what they keep quoting in the Australian media, according to the Ateco Group. We do have some people that are from Australia that watch this channel. Put down the cost net in the comments. I'd be curious to get your thoughts. I got busy today. I couldn't research it. I'm not sure what that is. So a double cab Laramie with a Hemi is $76,000. Remember that bighorn I had like a couple weeks ago with the Hurricane was like $72,000. Interesting stuff. So it looks like the Hurricane will eventually replace the Hemi V8 according to Cars Guide Australia. This photo here is interesting. This is the Ateco Group. They posted this photo on their website. I did get a chance to look at this. So they did 20,000 versions. They celebrated that on February 3rd, 2023. They previously celebrated 500 conversions on January 15th, 2020. So they've done 1,500 conversions or more so than 500 conversions a year. And they've been continually doing this. So it's starting to ramp up because, again, the politicians saw it. There's some other politicians who've seen it as well. They've also been importing Ram 2,500 and 3 and 1-ton trucks through a joint venture with Walkinshaw Automotive Group from even more towing and payload capacity. One of the persons talked about, one of the comments on the Auto Guide was about having somebody had a neighbor had a dually, and that really got them fired up. What a waste! What a terrible truck! Never does any work. You've heard these themes before in U.S. market and U.S. Consumers. This month, Ram revealed it has passed 30,000 sales of these trucks in Australia since starting back in 2013. The sales number, while small in the U.S. market, hasn't gone unnoticed. Holden Special Vehicles, a partnership between General Motors, Holden, and British Tom Walkinshaw, again, group, started importing the Chevrolet Silverado 2500 heavy duty with a 6.6-liter Duramax diesel engine. Then started bringing the Chevrolet Silverado 1500 with a 6.2-liter V8 engine as well. Again, limited numbers of engines, limited types of engines. The Silverado 1500, they do an LTZ premium, which I hadn't heard about premium. It may be a trim on or a package on top of the LTZ. Again, short on time today, is now $130,500 Australian dollars, or $87,064 before additional costs. And it's an addition. That's actually increased $2,500 year over year. So they've actually been able to charge more and still have demand. Ram has sold 1,637 trucks so far year to date. This is Wednesday, June 19th, while Chevy has sold 1,519 sales. Again, slow market. These are all conversions, not big going on, but this is growing. This trend's growing in Australia. And again, it's kind of growing globally. I've seen new full-size trucks in Berlin, in parts of Germany, and as well as in Asia. Ford also joined the fray, announcing early in 2022 it'll bringing F-150 with a 3.5-liter EcoBoost to Australia through a RMA Automotive Group. Sales commenced last year. They range from 100,000 to 151,000 Australian dollars, which is 66,000 to 101,000 US dollars for XLT or Lariat, either short wheelbase or long wheelbase. Again, you got to pay a premium because they have the conversion going on. Finally, Toyota announced they'll bring the Toyota Tundra Limited with the turbocharged hybrid engine into Australia, the iForce Max. This I thought was fascinating. They had 280 customers conduct a local evaluation, and Cars Guide Australia suspects they will go on sale later on this year. So 280 customers were kind of given this truck as local evaluation, and apparently this is part of the government legality of importing the truck into Australia. The Walkinshaw Group, remember those guys, signed on and do the factory approved conversion work. So this is a photo of a right-hand drive. I got to think in my head and translate my head. Right-hand drive Toyota Tundra. What I thought was funny with myself was I was searching around trying to find a photo of this, and then it dawned on me, I could literally just take this in the Photoshop and invert it, and you would basically have a right-hand drive Australian Tundra. So I could take a North American left-hand drive in the Photoshop, invert it, and you basically have the same image. That's exactly what it looks like. Although it's interesting, the gentleman who's a journalist who did this video review, I watched this today, basically he said the gas pedal was like a Tundra, but the brake pedal was like a Lexus. They just kind of a combination of things. Some of the interior parts were able to be sourced, some were not. They're just working with suppliers to make this work out because it's a whole different request when you start flipping the steering wheel around. So this is met with fierce criticism. This is where it really gets interesting. So there's comment sections, a lot of things going on. They've many opponent increased pollution, problems parking them in cities designed for small utes. They take up two to three parking spots, and general hatred towards seeing them unloaded and not doing work every day. Empty bed. We hear this all the time as truck guys. If you don't have something in your bed every day and you're not towing every day, then why the hell do you have a pickup? That's just the dumbest argument ever. And I'm just done fighting the argument because it just doesn't make any sense. Does your sports car go on a truck every day? It does not. So knock it off with this. Truck guys use the trucks when they want to use the trucks. It's a tool. Andrew Chesterton, who is the journalist, I just did a great job on this kind of stories. Summed up the issue in a column with this headline. Do you drive an F1 Ford F-150, Ram 1500, Toyota Tundra, or Chevrolet Silverado in Australia? Sorry, but it turns out everyone dislikes you. That's the headline of a column he put out. And I promise you, it's here. I'll open this new tab, and you can see it right here. Sorry, but it turns out everyone dislikes you because their comments over there have been just outrageous. So let's talk about some of the comments going on. Chevrolet states that Chesterton states he rather likes them after spending time with them, and admits it seems like he's in an island with commenters attacking these trucks. The comment section is rife with back and forth over them. Bew Johnson, these vehicles, while they have a place in towing, are not meant to be 60% of traffic. The rest of the world, outside the United States and Oz, is best to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. But the footy-brained Aussie and the muscle-headed Yanks insist on driving these behemoths and complaining about fuel prices. Muscle-headed Yanks. In my opinion, they have a place for heavy towing. If you don't need that, you don't need them. If you don't need one of these oversized Yank tanks, that put everyone in danger on the road. This guy says, I have both a Ram 1500 and a Kia EV6. They both serve purposes, but if you can't charge off-home, off-solar, then frankly, it ain't worth it for the EV6. But a hybrid is better for the money. So you're saying, look, I got an EV and I got a truck, but I'd much rather have my truck because if you're not doing solar charging an EV, what's the point? Russell J responded, unfortunately, you seem to be an exception. But every time I go to Woolworths, which, okay, let me stop right there. Who here knew that Woolworths still existed? I did not. There's a Ram or similar taking up 2 to 4 spots or sticking out so far from their spot that makes the car park problematic for the others trying to navigate. I have no problems with large utes when they're used for intended roles, as you seem to. Finally, Yarra City Councilor, that's what they said. Yarra City Council Councilor, that's a mouthful. Stephen Jolly had some sharp criticism of them as well. If you live in Fitzroy, which apparently is a town, with the tiny streets that exist, and you buy yourself a Hummer, you're an absolute idiot, and you need to be dealt with whatever way the council can deal with it. He's like, we're going to deal with you guys, and the council is going to deal with it. They're looking at higher parking fees as a way to deter people driving bigger vehicles. You'll pay more money to park, I promise you. All right. The criticism has long been part of American culture and been pushed back. I've argued this for years. But what people don't get is always left out of conversations. All the new safety features like backup cameras, pedestrian detection, the myriad of parking sensors, and blind spot monitoring. People see the size and immediately jump to conclusions. If you haven't been in a truck in like 10 years, you are just being an idiot. That's my point of view. You got to go out there and get one. They have so many safety features. For you to hit a pedestrian, you'd have to be an imbecile. You'd have to really push through all the safety features to do that because they're designed to make it safer for pedestrians. And I'm sorry, but the argument that you can see I can't see over the hood, so I can see the pedestrian is safe. That is just foolish, right? You can't see over the hood of many cars. It doesn't matter. You're still going to hit things because the way the angle of the hood is and the way things are, you can't. The only way I'm not going to hit somebody is on a scooter, which you probably could. But look, the sensors, the pedestrian detection, the automatic emergency braking, all this stuff has saved lives. And it saved lives in cars and SUVs and in behemoth monster yank tank trucks. Doesn't matter. Finally, watching a video review from Chester on Tundra Limited, it's clear he thinks people are going to ultimately like him in Australia. He said at the end of the video, and I watched this, I think Toyota's biggest problem with the Tundra is going to be building them fast enough. So that's what's going on with our friends down under. What do you guys think? Do these oversized yank tanks need to get out of here, go back home? Or do you think people are finally wising up to the fact that the new full-size trucks have room for everybody? They can be a family vehicle. They can drive down the road really smoothly. They can be pretty fuel efficient if you keep your foot on the accelerator. They can tow. They can payload. They have lots of payload. They can do whatever you want to do with them. And they are incredibly safe for you and the pedestrians around you. They are really safe. And once you get past this, oh my God, look how big it is syndrome, you will understand that they're actually becoming the vehicle of choice for all those reasons and above. My 2 cents. Soapbox disengaged. For more, check the videos over here. Website down below as well, pickup.talk.com. I'll link to that video downstairs in the description and in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road.